Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? I'm hoping that the quality, like the sound quality, is fine. I'm currently in the closet, trying to fix. I think I fixed my microphone. I don't know, but there's a lot of noise in the house, so I had to come in here. So we'll see. We'll see what it sounds like. It's hot, but it's good. But anyway, I wasn't sure what to kind of talk about today because ultimately my life feels like really fucking messy all the time. And I'm on a group chat with two of my girlfriends. One lives in Georgia, other one in Chicago. And and we talk, and yesterday I was just like, guys, I'm like, is my family like falling apart, or is y'all's life like a disaster too? And they thankfully were like, no, our lives are roller coasters too. And I was like, well, would you guys mind complaining a little more? Because I feel like I'm alone and everything's so messy. And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. I was like, they're so supportive because I'm here. I'm like, guys, is my family broken? And they're like, no. They're like, if you're broken, then we're all broken. She's like, we all have our shit. She's like, and then they were like, we'll talk more about it so you don't feel so alone. I'm like, okay, thanks. I was like really grateful for them. But, I just, it's just been messy. Everything's been so messy and hard, and I'm cranky and stressed, and just my anxiety is through the roof, and I just have anger, right? Resentments and an attitude problem. And it feels like, I don't know, I guess it feels like a step back. And that's what gave me like the idea of like what to talk about today. Because we are a generation of like, let's heal. Not everybody, but a lot of people, you look, social media, I really do think is like the worst thing to happen to society. But anyway, there is like, spiritual people out there, and there's so many different types, right? There's so many different types of people. And when you say things like spiritual or healing or, like anything like that, it's almost got like this negative, even me, like it gives me like the ick, right? You see people with their perfect morning routines and glow ups and testimonials, and it's like, okay, yeah. And then they try to sell you this, and it just for me seems like bullshit, okay? Because your life is not going to change because you have the perfect morning routine, And if I implement that morning routine, then my life's going to change too. And I don't think that that's how it works. I keep hearing people say, I'm working on my healing, like it's some kind of like homework assignment. But what even is healing? Is it like a destination? Is it a checklist? Or is it just like living more honestly, or having more joy, more edges, to like, so I want to talk about like that today. I want to talk about like healing. I kind of defined it, and it's healing is a progressive integration of experience, noticing what's alive in you, meeting it with curiosity, making small repairs, and choosing alignment more often than not. Now, that is what I think true healing is. However, when you aren't focusing on like the small wins, you don't think anything's happening. And I fall into this too. Okay. Because, you read about people like, what is his name? Eckhart Tolle. He has a good book, but sometimes I wonder, like, is he full of shit? I just think celebrities are full of shit. All of them. I don't think any of it's real. If I see Oprah praising some spiritual dude, I'm sketched. Okay. Like you're sketchy. All of it is sketchy. Like, is it real? I don't know. But I don't have a right to judge just because I haven't had some weird experience doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It kind of even ties into the whole being saved by Jesus thing. I've never been saved by Jesus, and I'm not even sure what that means. And a lot of the times I wonder if it's just a bunch of spiritual bypassing. I don't know. Like, I know it sounds like I'm judging, but I'm just curious, right? So if you've been saved by Jesus and you can like describe that to me, please do contact me and we will talk, because I want to know. Because even like my husband will say things like, Jesus saved me when I was so and so. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? And you can't really like elaborate with words. And I'm just like, you have this wonderful thing, this beautiful thing that has supposedly changed your life, but you can't tell me what it means. So if you can tell me what it means, I would just like really, really appreciate that. Anyway, I'm not going to get into, I will talk more about faith, but that's not what today is about. For me, healing, so it's like there's this trap, this spiritual perfectionism trap, right? Where I have fallen into, and I believe like, okay, well, if I fell, then that means I'm not healing. I'm not healed. Okay. So if I say I'm not going to drink, right? I'm not going to drink alcohol, and then I do drink, even though I promised myself I wouldn't, then you know what? I haven't done anything. I haven't healed. I wouldn't give myself the credit of, hey, yeah, I might have promised myself I wouldn't drink, then I did, but for like 150 days, like I didn't drink. A shift had to have happened there, but I would just disregard it altogether. I'm like, nope, I still drink. I'm a loser. I'm not healing because I still drank, and I promised myself I wouldn't. But the thing is, I still keep showing up, right? Even if I feel like I fall, whether it's with drinking or yelling at Quinn or yelling at my partner or just, whatever it is. Just like maybe my like shitty mood. I wake up in a mood like, and that annoys me too, but sometimes I do like, and I just gotta, but honestly, like today I woke up in a mood, but I took a shower. I felt so much better. I really did. Anyway, it's just you get so lost in the healing. And I did this in my 20s too. Like I started yoga and I got obsessed with being the best version of myself. And then when I fell back, whether it was missed yoga or I was like, having a bad mood or I felt angry or whatever, I would just like be so hard on myself. But the thing is, it's like toxic positivity is not high vibe, okay? Like you can't pretend your way to a happier life. You have to be able to feel the things that you are afraid of. And, it's hard. It is hard. This healing journey, or whatever you want to call it. And I think even that is the problem, is calling it, I'm healing. I'm on a healing journey. What does that mean? Now, like I get like people are trying to heal, just feel better, because we are all so disconnected from nature, ourselves, other people. The disconnection is really, tied into all of our depression. And, we have the internet and the dopamine and we all just need to fucking go take a walk. I swear to God, if more people took a walk, we would start feeling better. Anyway, and I think we've all lost so much control. Like we see the state of the world and we see like we feel so powerless because we're told we are, right? Even me, I even feel powerless a lot of the time because this is pounded into our brain since we are when we are very, very small. It starts when we are very, very small and it never stops. It's designed. I think the Matrix is designed that way. That's why we're all, miserable. So then we go on these healing journeys because I think it promises us that maybe we'll finally get some control. Like, if I heal this, then I'll be fixed and I will feel better and I will find joy, But like I said, social media is turned healing into this visible, like, status, ritual, before and after, glow up, curated testimonial thing. And then we're sold these expensive classes and tools and biohacks, and it's just like, when all we really need is to go stand outside for a minute, turn off the social media and the TV and the noise, and just go take a deep breath and be like, what the fuck, like, and just feel, and we don't want to feel because it's scary and it hurts, and what are we going to find there? But I promise you, those emotions have to be cleared, because you will feel so much better. Not 100, you won't be fixed. It won't fix overnight, but at least like, I liken it to feeling like TV static, like my body and my mind is like, and I just want to, like, fall over and die sometimes, because it's so awful. Like, the way, that I feel. And then, so not only are we've commercialized these healing, things. We've commercialized, now we're even more debt because we think we need to go buy, $1,000 whatever, or, $100 here, $1,000 here, all these things. Even I went into a phase where I went through, like, my non-toxic phase. I spent a lot of fucking money, okay? And it was useless. Like, then I became obsessed. I was scared to breathe. I was scared to eat. Like, that period of my life, it was like a year. And my God, my poor husband and our bank account, like, and then, like, I had so much anxiety. You can cut the toxic load and not freak out about it. Like, any little thing will help, and start small. Like, I'm not going to get into that low tox life, because that in itself, everybody's divided about that too now. And I'm just like, oh my God, we can fucking fight about anything, can't we? We can make a fight about anything. And it's embarrassing. Like, can we just all, like, laugh again? Like, who fucking cares? Sometimes it's just like, I'm so, like, so over it, kind of. And I'm just looking. I just watch, and, like, sometimes I can't. Lately, I can't even get on social media because it's fucking annoying. Everybody's fucking on their high horse, like me right now, telling me I'm doing it wrong, they're doing it right, and then they try to sell me something. And I'm just like, the influencers and all this stuff, like, don't try to sell me anything. Can we just, let's stop buying shit, for one. We all need less stuff, I think. God, that's, like, problem number one. And it's just like, we jump on this healing journey, and it becomes, yeah, like I said, like, just a checklist. You think there's an end point, but there's not. Like, that's the trick. That's how they get you. They think, well, if you do this, then that's it. You're healed. No, healing happens, like, in small, like, moments that are barely noticeable if you're not paying attention, like an example would be, sometimes, like, I want to be a happier person. Like, I want to be a happier mom. Like, I don't want to dread every day. And, like, God, I can't express to you how sick I am of being exhausted. Like, I'm so tired of being tired, right? So then I'm just like, I've got to fix my diet. Got to do, I start, like, overwhelming myself with all the things I need to do to make me less tired, when really I need to get more present. Yes, I can clean up my diet slowly, or yeah, I can maybe put the wine down and drink, my magnesium or something, or water, whatever, like, it's choosing to put the wine down and picking up another beverage like water. That is healing, right? Okay. Or if I do happen to yell at my daughter, which I hate doing, but sometimes I get overwhelmed and mad or whatever. I'm emotional because I hate yelling at her. But if I can turn around, bend down, look at her in the face and just be like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry for yelling at you. It's not your, you didn't do anything. That's mommy's fault, like that's healing. Or, if I promised myself I wouldn't drink and I pick up a drink and the next morning I had a hangover, yeah, it's almost like, yeah, I could beat myself up, but healing would be, I made a choice. And it wasn't a choice that I actually wanted. It's not a choice that I liked. So maybe today I'll do better. Like, that's healing. Continuing to show up even when it's fucking messy, even when you're not perfect, and just, wanting to be a little better. Like, that's all healing. It's these little bitty moments that nobody's going to cheer for it, like no one's going to be like, oh, way to go for apologizing for yelling at your daughter, like nobody's going to say that. No, because online it has to be these big life altering moments, these dark nights of the souls that almost kill you. And then you wake up and your third eye is open and you see the world in colors in a much different way. And suddenly you have no fear at all. Okay. Well, if that happens, awesome. Kundalini awakenings, sure. None of that has ever happened to me. And not that I am striving for that. Like, I'm not necessarily looking for that. I'm actually just wanting to get into a place in my life where I'm not overcome by fear, anxiety, and, just my brain telling me that I'm going to die and my daughter's going to die every fucking day. Like, it would be so nice to just be able to wake up and look at the sun, like the sunrise, and be like, wow, that's really fucking beautiful. And today is fucking beautiful. And you know what? The trees are fucking great. But no, it's not like, it's not really like that, right? No, because spiritual perfectionism would have you believe that you're not like enough. But the truth is, every imperfect, messy, beautiful moment is sacred. And we forget that. We forget that. Even I do. Like, even right now, when I tell you that healing happens every time I apologize to my daughter, or every time each drinking binge is shorter than the last, like, that's ugly, right? But that's still healing. Even in my brain, it's like, no, it's not. But yes, it is. And it's my job to teach myself that these small little changes are what healing is all about, because the end point is there is none. It's always going to be fucking messy. And if you think it's not, you're in that trap. And shame is going to follow you around, and it's always going to feel heavy. Like, you don't have to be perfect to be continuing to heal. Okay? There's not some finish line where it's just like, yes, I made it. I really don't think there is. I certainly, maybe it is for someone else, but my experience is, I'm not saying that there's always going to be something. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I will still be able to find joy in the imperfection. That's my hope, is that, no, my job is not to fix everything before I feel joy. The goal is to feel joy right now, even if I fuck up, and it's to find joy now. And even if I do fuck up, I'm not hating myself for it, right? You can be better and still make the same choices, right? But even the awareness that you made this choice and you don't want to keep making it, that's a shift too. That's healing. These are like micro healing moments that nobody gives yourself credit for. But I feel like that is where the healing starts. You don't have to be perfect to be healing. You are healing every time you laugh, every time you try again, every time you choose love over shame. Like I said, I think letting yourself be human, letting yourself be free to be imperfect, that's that's healing too. Like, no, I don't need your $100 face oil that's blessed by shamans to change my life, okay? And I just made that up. I don't know if that's real, but if that's your thing, I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying, like, I don't need it. Okay. The next candle or incense, yes, you could use this if it's fun for you. Like, I love rituals. I will put glass jars of salt everywhere. I will light incense and pray. Like, I love rituals. They're just like fun for me. And that's like a little joy I find in this fucked up world, right? But it's just, I think that obsession with healing is just maybe an attempt to gain some control. But the problem is that we're so hard on ourselves, all of us. I just, you're just trying to, I think like we're all trying to be, no, I don't even think we're trying to be anything. I just think that people want what's best, but we don't know what that is. But I think that kindness and love is best. Like, don't hate your neighbor because they don't agree with you. That's crazy, right? We have to start doing better when it comes to being kind to one another, because the judgment and the fighting and it's just so exhausting. Like, sometimes I think if people would just shut off the news and the internet, they would wake up like out of a fog. I really do, because you get in there and it fucks your brain up. And it's just kind of like, what are we becoming, And in the world, it needs more joy and love and creativity, right? I don't like search the internet for much. Like Instagram, I like to look at funny like animal videos. I just like the funny videos, and I like to post the funny videos so other people can laugh too. It's like my way of using the internet to spread joy. And I like to laugh. It's so rare. Things are so not funny sometimes, but at least there's some funny stuff out there. And there's some really funny people. I think that we should all, I talked about this last week, like the rabbit holes and the politics, and these are all traps. Just like spirituality is a fucking trap. Not spirituality in itself, but the perfectionism of it. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to have it all figured out. You're not. So stop striving for it. It is healing to want to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. That in itself is healing. Just the awareness that you want to, drinking a bottle of wine instead of a bottle and a half. That's growth, whether you like it or not. But nobody talks about like that. They have this performative vulnerability, but they're not actually, talking about or showing what healing looks like. I literally don't even show myself on camera because I look like an 80-year-old woman most of the time. I mean, all the stress, all the anger, all the resentment, all the alcohol, like I'm weathered right now. I need to do some liver care. Okay. And I shouldn't care, but I'm human and I'm not perfect, like I don't have it all figured out. I don't. Like, there are some days when it hits 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, I want a glass of wine because I just don't want to do this. I don't do it, of course, which maybe before Quinn I probably would have. But now that I'm a mom, I don't. See, that's growth. That's healing, even if it's not pretty. You see what I mean? It's like these little shifts in awareness, in action, in behavior, all of these things. That is all healing. I just think that the answer to a lot of our pain is to give ourselves a fucking break. right? And to celebrate even the smallest, wins. Like the smallest, like repairing as opposed to being perfect. So if I fuck up, then I can apologize and then I can move on and not berate myself about it. Like, oh man, you should have fucking did better. You suck as a mom and a partner and blah, blah, blah. Because like that's what my brain does. So I can be like, hey, you know what? I fucked up and I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that there's a lot going on here and I took it out on you. And then I can move on. That is a win. Or just, focusing on, like I said, I'm doing this challenge where I focus on good things, like good things that make me happy, like Quinn's hugs or her laugh or seeing the sun or the fact that it's not so fucking humid outside. Like, I like that. These are joys and I like them and they made me happy, or that I could take a deep breath. That brings me joy. I'm grateful that I can do that, or I'm grateful for my legs. They have me running around with my daughter. I'm able to run after my daughter when I need to. Yes, I'm tired, but at least I'm tired and my daughter is here and we're laughing and we're playing. And even if she hates sleeping, she's still here and I can hold her and I can love her. There is good out there. I'm not saying that there's not bad, but I have spent my whole life waiting for bad, focusing on bad. So now I'm using these 30 days to focus on good, like, thank you. Thank you to my daughter's doctors who continue to save her, who continue to change her quality of life, who heal her. Thank you. Thank you, universe, for continuing to heal my daughter and me. Thank you that I have a bed to lay in, even if I have insomnia. Thank you that there's a show there for me to watch when I want to escape from this world. So yeah, I understand that blue lights are bad and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, like I said, I'm not there yet. I'm going to get lost in my show. And that's a win. If I'm getting lost in my show and not getting lost in a bottle of wine, that's a fucking win. So yes, go me. Go fucking me. Or, like, I pause before I scream. I pause and I think, no, you know what? I'm not going to scream. That's a fucking win. If my drinking binges last 2 days instead of a week, win. Because I just had a drinking binge for like 2 months. Okay? So if I'm going to have a drinking binge for a couple days and then I bounce back, that's a win. Not pretty, right? No, it's not pretty. So, I invite you. Maybe if you're in your car or if you're at home or you're just listening to this, and I invite you to take a deep breath, put your hands on your heart, take a deep breath, and you name one thing that you are grateful for or one thing that, brought you joy. Okay? So, if you're tired of chasing the perfect version of healed, here's your permission slip. You can be messy and be human and laugh and still be doing the work. You don't have to have the fucking perfect routine, okay? You don't need to be praying at altars. You don't have time to meditate. Hey, guess what? Me the fuck either. And guess what? My nervous system is so fucking fried. I don't need to be meditating anyways. I need to go outside and go for a run, okay? Or do jumping jacks or run around after my daughter. I got to get that energy out. So if you think that you need to sit for an hour and you are dysregulated, guess what? That's just going to make you feel 1,000 times worse. So if you don't want to meditate, like don't go scroll. Don't disappear, but do something else. Like I said, take a deep breath. What are you grateful for? Healing, it's like I said, I went through my non-tox phase. Healing, these journeys, this obsession, this healing journey, perfectionism, whatever you want to call it, it shouldn't cancel out being alive. Okay, life is not about fixing the next thing. Life is about joy. It's about the small moments. Yes, I pray you have big, beautiful, miraculous, joyful moments. I pray we all do. But you should focus on the small joys, right? The small ones are what makes life, rich, because if we forget the small moments, we're letting the days pass us by. For me, I'm always so afraid of losing my daughter, just anybody really, but I'm always so afraid, of losing my daughter or just the next appointment and what the news is going to be. And I was doing this so much that I wasn't just looking at her and appreciating her and her smile and her joy and her laughter and the fact that she gets so excited when she sees, the same lizard that we named Albert, outside, or that she's learning to ride her little tricycle, or, that she loves school, and then my fear, it's just this nasty black goo. That's what it feels like. And it suffocates me sometimes. And I just want to sit on the couch, right? And here it is, Quinn, this small baby who has joy, who doesn't even know how fucked up the world is. And she's so excited to be here. And I can't get my ass off the couch because I don't want to, because I'm afraid, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person. And you know what? Trying to heal or trying to, or being mad at myself, that made it worse. So what did I do? I shift gears. And I think, okay, look, like if I'm having a day where I'm angry or mad or tired, I don't beat myself up. Yes, I am. I'm tired. That's okay because my daughter is still here and she's alive and she wants to do things and I want to do them too. I do. And I can't let my fear of losing her mess up this time now, right? Mess up my life now. Because we're always waiting for the bad thing. And I know it's hard because I do it too. That's what happens when, you have these life events that cause you trauma. And I don't use that term lightly, like I said. I'm not talking about, people just use that phrase. I don't even like to say it sometimes, but I understand that it's hard, right? But if you're always focusing on healing, in this way, you're going to become obsessed with it and nothing's going to feel good. Nothing's going to feel like a win because you're on your healing journey. And I invite you all to just stop and just say, no, I'm living my life. And if I want to be better than I was yesterday, awesome. That's healing. And you don't have to call it a journey. You can call it life because I think that's the point, right? Is to be, better than we were yesterday. Even if that better is not drinking 2 bottles of wine in the middle of the night, and just drinking one. So when you make these little shifts, it should make your life sweeter, right? Like, yes, I did that. It feels good. I'm going to do it some more. So let's trade perfection for presence and let that joy alone count as medicine because it matters. It counts. The little ones count and you should give yourself credit. Okay. It I wish everybody would stop being so hard on themselves, including me. And you know what, God, I'm going to pray to you right now. And I pray that all of us humans start to remember our power and start to understand that our love and our hearts and our joy, all of these things, our anger, our rage, our shame, our grief, our guilt, this is all part of the human experience. And it's not something to be afraid of. Our job is to feel these things and not hurt our neighbor. Dear God, I pray that we all find our joy again and that we all learn to treat ourselves and others with love and kindness. I invite you today, all of you who are listening and made it this far, I invite you to look for joy throughout your day. 1, look for joy, little ones. Just start by one a day. Just start one a day and it can break a loop. I swear to you, it can. And then I ask you to find an anchor. So this is truly something, especially if you deal with like severe mental anxiety, anguish, whatever. You pair like something grounding with something, that makes you feel good. So like me, I will take a deep breath, take a sip of tea or, my lemon water or coffee or whatever. Mostly coffee because I love it. I know it's bad for me, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I fucking love coffee. Not getting rid of it yet. Take my sip of wonderful coffee. I take a deep breath and then I go hug my daughter. One of the biggest, most beautiful hugs. And I breathe her in and I smell her hair. And it's just an anchor. And that's one of my favorite anchors. And I invite you to find an anchor too. That's all about this. I have not gone to the, post office and made a P.O. box yet. So I don't have a P.O. box for you to send your shame cards. But I'll get there. And maybe tomorrow morning or next week. But we'll get there. We will get there. And because I really want to do that. And then I think that's it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I will be back next week. Love you. I will continue to pray for you. I ask that you pray for me, my family, my daughter, and her continued healing, and I will be back next week. Love you. Bye.